What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So a big night on Tuesday night for Jen's season of The Bachelorette. It's the Men Tell All, but we also get hers and Devin's conversation, with Devin kind of in his head a little bit about not hearing I love you back from her. At this point, we get that conversation. We get the rose ceremony. Who goes home? Plus what happens in the Men Tell all the drama that usually ensues from the Men Tell All, and I believe this one will be a pretty feisty group for the Men Tell All coming up. How will it all play out? Before we talk about the Men Tell All and everything that happened on Tuesday night, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there for more content as we near the end of Jen's journey on The Bachelorette and we move into the Golden Bachelorette here in a couple weeks. So we open the episode seeing Grant on the phone with his mom telling her that he got picked to be the Bachelor. Looking forward to hearing more from him later on in the Men Tell All. Jesse almost got me to throw the phone straight through the TV when he's introducing himself to the crowd and, seems like and opening the episode, and he says, y'all want to find out what happened with Devin? Well, we'll find out next week. Then he said, no, actually, right now I almost threw my phone clear through the television here in the living room. But we jump right back to Devin walking down the hall saying it's probably the end for him as he's heading to Jen's room to have this conversation. He gets to her room and he tells her he's just in a weird headspace with his feelings and, doubting a little bit about where her head's at. He tells her he feels like he's the safe option. Obviously proposals are next week, and he said, I still don't know where your head's at. Jen says how she's not good at expressing how she feels and, putting herself out there. She says, am I doing something wrong if he didn't feel love from me? She says, I don't know what I would do if we weren't here, if you weren't here, if we weren't together. And then she says, Devin, I do love you, you freaking idiot. Crowd cheers, and Devin says he feels a lot closer than ever to Jen. And I was actually fist bumping here in the living room. And let me tell you, if you go back to week 1 or 2, and you would have told me that after those first episode or two that I would be rooting this hard for Devin this late in the journey to be Jen's pick, I would have said you're insane. We said it in some of the early, recaps for this season. Just didn't like how Devin was going about things. Thought his intentions were, probably in the right place for Jen. Just didn't like how he was going about it. And can still agree that, maybe some of his actions at the beginning of the season, not malicious, but just how he went about things, probably weren't the best. But overall, I think his intentions were always pure and there for Jen. But don't get me wrong, I like Jonathan a lot as well when we're talking about this final 3. I just personally think they're not there yet. Marcus, I know Jen has obviously liked him throughout this, whole journey, and think that Jen's probably liked Marcus the most throughout this journey, just kind of reading, how she acts with all the different guys here on this season, but he's clearly not there with her yet. And I think at the end of the day, why I was cheering so hard for Devin here is I think that he's there the most for her. And at the end, I just want Jen to be happy. That's what we all want. We just want Jen to find love at the end of this, get engaged, everything that she wants from this journey. Now it's time for the rose ceremony. Jonathan hopes he's not too late in telling her how he feels. Devin gets the first rose. Marcus gets the second one. The crowd gasps, but I feel like we unfortunately saw this coming. It was, as Jonathan kind of alluded to, he's an incredible dude, but it was just too late, getting there and with those feelings, especially where Devin was and where Jen's feelings were for Marcus. Just took a little bit too long for Jonathan, unfortunately. As he said, he was his own worst enemy. He says he was walking down the beach the day previous and found 2 chairs, sat there, got clarity, and wanted nothing more than to be sitting there with no one else but Jen. He said that she was perfect for him, but he wasn't perfect for her. So that's a hard pill to swallow. But Jen says how their relationship was built off of friendship at first, and which she said she hadn't really had before. Jonathan says, you have 2 great guys down there and hope you find what you're looking for. You deserve it. So it is sad to say bye to Jonathan here, but hopefully, obviously for Jen, this means her getting closer to finding happiness, and hope for Jonathan that we maybe see him soon on the beaches of paradise. I don't know. More on that maybe in a little bit. Jonathan joins the stage with the guys, and Jesse breaks down the mood with Brett reading some DMs he received that got a little X-rated, or maybe not TV rated. I think they censored some of them, but we get a little recap from some of the drama from the season, from Thomas to Sam to Aaron, Devin, the whole lot of the whole group. And then, gosh, just re-watching all of the Sam stuff, it was just, I don't even have a good word from it. And at least on the surface, it doesn't even seem like he was bothered by it. I guess we'll wait and see, what he has to say from it. Aaron says that what he opened up to Jen about people possibly not being ready where she needs them to be at the end of this journey. Says that he was talking about Thomas, the love virgin, Devin at the time, and Spencer. Spencer goes after him, and Aaron defends himself, saying that on the one-on-one date that he had with Jen, that it was uncomfortable about him talking about how he was getting through that previous relationship and wasn't healed. Spencer at one point said, like, "Are you a psychiatrist or something? Like, what is this?" Noah and Abigail are in the audience, and Noah says how he received that book on his season, similar how Aaron gave Devin a book about, I forget what the book he gave him about, like emotional intelligence, and I forget the book Noah got on his season as well, but Noah's like, yep, I got my book from, a guy from Harvard, and I'm a guy from Oklahoma, and usually, those two don't go together, or he thinks he's better than me because he was at Harvard, whatever, it was a funny interaction with Noah there, but he says, obviously they're twins, obviously grew up together, but he's like, I don't think the book is the right move. Again, I think Aaron had good intentions, but just the execution of that, not the best. And the book, I'm sure in hindsight, if you ask him off camera, I'm sure he's like, probably shouldn't have done the book, even though a lot of people, I'm sure, were feeling the same way about Devin at that time, about how he was handling himself in the house. Jeremy says at least Devin was keeping the main thing, unlike two people, obviously referring to Sam and his buddy Thomas. They revisit some of Sam and Devin's quips throughout this journey, and they bring Sam up to the hot seat. He said that he wishes he could have handled some things differently, and Jesse presses him on if he was truly in love with Jen, or if that was kind of just a Hail Mary move because he felt things going south. He says yeah, and he believes that he was in love. But Spencer does kind of call him out for, if you say this, but then you're calling her dull as you're driving away in the car. He explains that they always communicated with their eyes, and her eyes were dull, and I'm sorry, I'm not even entertaining it. I'm good. Jeremy says I don't know where his eyes were. He might have had eyes for Daisy or Maria, as he kind of said on that Seattle date. Sam says, if y'all thought that it wasn't going to be Daisy or Maria, you're lying. And apparently he told his parents that it wouldn't work out with either of them anyway. And then, as I believe it was Brian said, why come out then if you didn't believe it would work? Sam says he's trying to learn and grow from this, and, coming from a spot of humility. I guess I don't wish any ill will on him. Wish him the best going forward. But I don't know, man. There was a vibe from him from the beginning of the season with me. But I wish him well and hope he learns from this journey. Jonathan joins the hot seat now. They show the video montage of his journey. He says he regrets not getting there a lot quicker with Jen. Has nothing but good things to say about Jen and their relationship as a whole. He says how both relationships were at the point of with love involved in terms of Devin and Marcus, and they were just good and comfortable at that point. Jesse says, there's a certain beach that'll be opening if you're still single, and extends the first official invite to Paradise. He says yes. So everyone's glad we'll see Jonathan on the beaches of Paradise next summer. And then a little side note here, as they're previewing the new Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I believe it's called, they had Akeem in the box. If anyone remembers from Peter's season of The Bachelor, they had Barb in the box for the finale episode, her reacting to everything that happened, and they had Akeem in the box reacting to this trailer or sneak peek at the new show, and that was hilarious. Grant comes out as the new Bachelor. The crowd and the guys go wild for him. They take a look back at his journey to get here. Apparently there have been over 10,000 applicants that have applied to be on the show since he was announced. Says he's looking for a kind soul and someone who's genuine and looking to build a bond that'll never fade. Jesse warns him to get used to showering on camera, as Bachelor Nation loves a good lather. Now it's time for Jen to come up on stage and reminisce on the season. To this point, Jen appreciates all the men being vulnerable and taking the journey so seriously. Jonathan apparently had been ranking all of her dresses and says that this dress that she had on now was number one. Jonathan thanks her, though, for everything and the fact that he was able to get there, kind of in one night. Proud of himself. I'm assuming he was implying that he, got to that point of that he was in love with her and, possibly got to that point at the overnight date. And, if it made it, a little bit further or had another chance, probably would have told her. I'm just reading between the lines, assuming that's what he was meaning there. Jen reminisces on being disappointed about when Thomas pulled Devin and kind of left her sitting there by herself to confront some drama with Devin. And she says how they had a good conversation night one, and maybe the journey would have been a little different if he focus a little more on her than, this drama with Devin and such in the house. And then talks about Sam and how she started feeling red flags and alarm bells, and especially when she realized that they didn't talk and he didn't know her at the end of the day. And then Jen absolutely chewed Sam up and spit him out. Starts with, I'm going to say this in words you'll understand, so I'm going to keep the main thing the main thing. We're clearly on two different emotional intelligence levels. She said how she was disappointed in how he treated the guys in the house and how everything was always all about him. And instead of learning from that, he had his friends and family double down on this and have them defend his honor when, as she says, he's a grown man, and not take accountability, blame the producers, TV show, the edit, whatever. Jen says, I want you to be better from this, but if you don't take accountability and learn from this, then I feel very sorry for whoever you end up with, because this delusion and denial is not going to work for anybody. I gotta say, I'm sure a lot of everyone watching stood up and gave Jen a standing ovation for that. Just absolutely chewed him up, spit him out, and gave what he had coming to him. Sam said he lost himself in some of those moments and that she saw walls around his heart that he didn't see before he did and took accountability from it. She says, I truly hope you mean that, because I do want the best for you. Same here, want the best for you, but I think we're good on talking about Sam for the rest of this season. Grant says that he's going to take from Jen to stay true to yourself on the journey and how she's a role model and that he's happy for her and hope that she has that love that she's looking for. She said she knows that he's going to be incredible on his journey. Jen reflects on being the first Asian American bachelorette and how have been typically cast to fit a stereotype and, have never been the main story, and how she's never seen her culture celebrated and how she saw it growing up in, the patriarchy in terms of, as she said, her dad, was the head of the household or made all the decisions, and herself and her mom didn't want that for her in a relationship. From the Vietnamese American community, she says the response has been incredible with the support from this season. She said knowing she makes some people feel less alone makes it come full circle for her. She also says how she was happy to be able to be her most authentic self in her journey. Charity and Dotun are in the audience. Charity says how she's proud of Jen and wish her the best, hoping she got everything that she came into this journey wanting. Charity and Dotun talk about how they're doing good, living in Brooklyn, traveling, wedding planning, all that stuff, and how they finally got to go to Greece, but Don got sick for part of the trip. So Jesse says, well, ABC is sending you back to hopefully have a full, healthy trip there in Greece, and that's awesome. An awesome way for the show to celebrate the successful Bachelor Nation couples. Blooper time, and as always, the bloopers were absolutely hilarious. One of the best moments of the season every single time. Jesse says to Hakeem, on the off chance you ended up on Paradise, there could be bugs. They have him go sit in a chair and they bring out the world's largest spider. He's like, I'm not doing this for nothing. I was doing this for Jen last time, but the guy does end up putting it on his leg. And me personally, I just get chills looking at that. Like, nope, could not be me under no circumstances. I am sorry. And then Jesse says, if you're still single, he extends the second official invite to Paradise, to Hakeem. He accepts, so we will see both Jonathan and Hakeem on the beaches of Paradise next summer. We get a preview for Jen's finale. Jesse says you're going to be on the edge of your seat the entire time. I'll hold you to that, Jesse Palmer. She says that she's in love with Marcus and Devin. We see Devin ask her brother if he could have his blessing. He said he's not going to give the blessing. Maybe the edit? I'm hoping so. Her mom says that she thinks they need more time to understand each other. Asked Marcus if he's in love, and he says that he wants to get there for her. And they say, so you're not ready for an engagement? Her brother says how she has a history with emotionally unavailable men. How long are you willing to wait and don't want to repeat history? Hear her say the certainty in their relationship is dwindling down. Marcus says that he's struggling because he knows he loves her and doesn't want to give up on them. And the anticipated Jen and Jesse convo where she says that she needs to follow her heart today. He says, you sure you want to do this? What's going on? Then she says, what I'm going to do today is something I never thought I would do, but I have to do what's right for me. She says, I can't let you propose to me. So next Tuesday, we get the 3-hour finale. Tuesday, not Monday, because of Labor Day next week. Hopefully that's some good editing in there to keep us on the edge of our seats, and hopefully it's a happy ending for Jen. I'm still leaning to, I think it's Devin because of how emotionally unavailable Marcus is currently, and how much we see Devin does care and love for Jen currently. I'm hoping that was some editing with not giving Devin the blessing, and her brother actually does give her the blessing. And then I think that she was talking about Marcus here when she said that the certainty in the relationship is dwindling down, because she has said how Marcus makes her feel safe and comfortable. So maybe that certainty in their relationship is dwindling down if he's still not at this point and they're getting to the end of this journey. But we will find out next Tuesday on Jen's finale of The Bachelorette. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.